Hey guys, it's Junior. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to go over, it's been 2 weeks since I've done an update. First and foremost, I apologize to you guys. I've been running the entire business here. Senior's been away, so I've kind of been running the showroom and the restoration side of things. So it's kept me away from doing my YouTube duties. I am back. We did not stop the shop. We've made a ton of progress. I'm super excited to show you guys what we've been into for the last 2 weeks. So thank you for once again joining me. First and foremost, let's get into some cars that I have not had the chance to touch. Mainly this guy sitting here. This is one that I had introduced to you guys previously. This is of course a 1966 red coupe, but this one is sold. And in fact, it sold before I had the opportunity to do anything with it at all. And this is becoming a not uncommon story recently because it seems like a lot of cars are getting sold out from under me before I have the chance to do my restoration side of thing. This one was earmarked for a complete frame off restoration. We were gonna do the full Monty to it, but it is leaving, today is Saturday, it's leaving Monday or Tuesday. So say bye-bye guys. I apologize. This was a project that was to be featured on the channel, but it's heading off, and someone else snagged it out from under me. See guys, I'm in the same boat as you. I have cars snagged out from under me too. I mean, it happens all the time. But so see you later to that. That's probably the last time we'll see that. What do you guys think of these H1s? Now, I know right now diesel is super expensive. Gas is extreme. Personally, I have always had a soft spot for these. You know, particularly the civilian version. The military version is rough around the edges. If you've actually had one or been in one, I mean, it's like a really cool idea until you drive one and they're rough. These though, I mean, this one of course is fully maxed out. You can, as you guys can tell, I mean, aftermarket stuff all over the place on this one. These people went far above and beyond. Full custom interior, touchscreen sound system, audio stuff, and billet stuff all over the place. I really like this because it's such a timeless design, right? And I love the slant back on this one. Comment down below. Is this just obnoxious? Am I being childish here? I mean, look how wide this obnoxious thing is. I love it. I would drive this at least 1 day a week. If I had unlimited money and could drive anything, this would be in the weekly rotation, without a doubt. There is room in my fleet for a Hummer H1 if I ever scratch off on a Powerball or whatever. But you guys can tell I don't gamble very much. I don't think you can scratch off a Powerball. That's not how that works. But man, I love that thing. It's the obscurity and the obnoxiousness of it all that it really draws me to it. Let me show you guys the purpose of this video though today, because I got in, you guys know we do Corvettes a lot. So we got in another C8. This one is absolutely, I know I said this about this one last time because this is a spec that I had never seen before, but again, we have a spec that I had never seen before. So blue with the silver stripes, black and light gray interior with the gray stitching. This is a 2022 model, so it is brand new. What do you guys think about these C8s? So right here we have the last of the C7s. This is the ultimate version, the ZR1 with the high carbon fiber wing in the back. This is arguably the pinnacle of C7 Corvettes. And this is, you can look at a car like this and see how it evolved into that. But can you look at that and see how it evolved into that? I feel like Corvette made a huge jump going from this to that. We're going from front engine, you know, the sports car that they had been doing since 1953, just an evolved version of it. And then they went to this thing. I felt like they could have called it a whole different model of car. They did not have to put the Corvette emblem on the front. They could have got away with, same way that Ford did with the Ford GT, right? They could have called this just the Z06, not the Corvette Z06, or something like that, something of that nature. You know, the Ford GT supercar has nothing to do with a Mustang. It's just the Ford GT. I feel like this is more akin to the Ford GT versus a Mustang in relation to, you know, kind of what Chevrolet is doing here, if that makes sense to you guys. With that being said, they had to go further. And how do you improve on this? I mean, this is a 755 horsepower. The chassis is phenomenal. And when you drive these on the track, it's highly, highly, highly tuned. It's not like something that they took a base model car and just threw power at it. This thing feels like it's ready for 755 horsepower. So how do you take something so good and evolve it, make it competitive with current markets? Well, you put the engine in the back, obviously. You put a dual clutch transmission. You don't even make a manual an option anymore, which sucks. I mean, honestly, for me, I would have loved to see this with a 7-speed manual transmission. Feel like they might even do that in the future. Where are things headed with the Corvette? I mean, right now they've just released that there is a hybrid EV version coming out with front-wheel drive in addition. So 4-wheel drive total. It's not just a front-wheel drive car, but that's where things are going. Right now, the EPA is mandating more and more stringent standards. So they're taking away the ability for us to have stuff like this. I feel like the days of the 750 and up horsepower cars are coming to an end here soon, guys. I mean, I can almost guarantee that. The Hellcat program is coming to an end. Dodge already told us that because they're going to their EV stuff. Why? EPA standards. So as a total fleet average, the average keeps going higher and higher. So every time you make a 750 horsepower car, it kills your fleet average on miles per gallon. So I think the days are up of this type of stuff. How are they going to do it? They're going to go to all-wheel drive with electric assist. So you get the same performance, but not with straight supercharged horsepower. So that's why I believe the new Z06 is not available with a supercharger anymore. It's a flat plane, high-strung, naturally aspirated, you know, 8-cylinder. Of course, it's high horsepower. It's a beautiful engine. I'm not knocking a flat plane Z06 motor, but it's not that ZR1 motor in terms of power. You know, are they going to come out with a ZR1? Maybe. Who knows? We'll see what they do then. But curious what you guys think down below, because I know my channel is filled with a bunch of guys that have appreciation for the older cars, right? The C2s, the C1s, the C3s. A lot of you guys own these, and you've seen me build a ton of them. So I really value your opinion. What do you think Chevrolet did here with the Corvette? I've told you kind of my thoughts about it, how I would have been cooler with it if they just called it like a Z06 or something like that, but this freaking spec is absolutely phenomenal. Let me show you the interior. Super, super nice. Not quite as flamboyant as our other C8 that we have sitting here. I can't get over that graphic when you shut the door. I don't know, I just think stuff like that is the neatest. This one with all the suede, the leather, it's got, you know, suede headliner with the stitching. It's interesting how different everything looks. This one has ventilated seats with the carbon inserts in it. Whereas if we go over to this one, it's what I think this is considered their sports seat. So basically just straight leather, no suede, no carbon inserts. Still a really, really nice seat, obviously, but this one has a full leather steering wheel, whereas the other one has suede. So it's kind of interesting. What is your guys' preference between these two cars? Money aside, I mean, Obviously this one is loaded with, I think, every option that you could get. This is a 1LT and this is a 3LT. So just for comparison, I really, really like this blue with the silver. I don't know, comment down below. What do you guys think? Did Corvette mess up, or did Chevrolet mess up on these when they released a mid-engine with no manual transmission available? You know, were they paying attention to where Corvette came from, I guess? You can see a lot of design elements, a lot of, you know, cues, I guess, when you look from car to car. I mean, the headlights and the front, how the arrow, it's similar. I mean, I could see how they transferred some of it over, but golly, they changed a lot. They changed a lot. To me, those look more like the modern Camaro taillights versus, you know, what the Corvette, the C7s. Yeah, just my opinion, but not knocking it. I'm just saying, golly, that ZR1 though, guys. I love this car. I love it, I love it. Okay, so enough gawking at that one. Let me show you guys the shop. I showed you this one the last video. This is a customer car in for a complete frame off restoration. You can see we have all the parts here for this car. So that's a really, really cool 64. You can see my Marlboro car is here waiting for carpet kit to go in, finally getting to that. This is the second car that was sold before I had the chance to do anything to it. So this is our 427. I actually showed you guys this one in the Black Beauties video. So that was a black split window in this. So this is a 66 427, of course. Let's always handle the hood by the center. You can see wrong radiator, wrong ignition. It's got an MSD ignition box up under there. So we are taking all of that off. And you can see I have a stack of boxes here. How much do you think is in here? I'm gonna tell you guys, $6,000, $6,000 in these boxes right here, just in parts. So that's getting ready to go on this black 66. You can see my saddle 64 is making pretty good progress. Honestly, it's kind of been on the back burner because I've been getting parts orders together for all of the other cars. This one is getting the chassis painted and bottom scrubbed and so on and so forth. It's been pressure washed and then pulled on the rack, and that's about where we stopped on that one. You can see my frame off car here is underneath the cover. We are waiting on air conditioning components before we can continue assembling the engine bay. So I'd like to have the condenser and the compressor so I can route all the lines. You guys, if you've watched my previous video, know I don't do a traditional install on my air conditioning. I read the instructions, but I don't necessarily follow them because I have a better way of doing things, and I explain that as I go through. I'll show you guys when I do it on this car. But yeah, air conditioning sourcing right now has been absolutely a difficult thing at the very best. So Vintage Air and Classic Auto Air are the two major distributors of air conditioning kits in these cars, and you're talking about a 2-month back order from either at the very, very best scenario. So I'm kind of waiting on parts for this. I've got a whole bunch of other stuff that we're continuing to do on the interior, but kind of going to be held up here pretty soon until I get the AC kit in for this black 65. My 67, 427, 435 horse. You can see a whole bunch of parts lined up on our tables here. Owl notch interiors, that's the door panels. You can see headliner. I mean, just tons and tons and tons of stuff is here for this car. I think I got $8,000 worth of parts in this week for this car. So everything that we need pretty much to assemble the interior on this one. The engine bay is, for all intents and purposes, done. So this one's coming together. Should be done potentially in the next 2 or 3 weeks is my game plan with this one. You can see my baby back here. I just want to show you guys real quick. I know no one cares. I actually made a junior builds a race car video, and it was one of my worst performing videos that I've ever done. But this is my girl, my baby, my car. So turbos are mounted. This is Sean's intake. We're not running that fabricated intake. I'm doing a different style with dual injectors. This is going to be powered by methanol, so we're not doing an intercooler. You can see drive shaft loop is in, shifter mount, column, seat, rear end is all together. Golly, I love this car. Cannot wait to get racing. Still kind of hammering out a engine combination. I know I want to do an LSX. I'm kind of thinking a 376, between a 376 cubic inch and a 427 cubic inch LSX. Obviously, got these twin precision turbos here, ready to force as much boost as I feel like I need. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting little package. Myers Minx waiting to get into paint. Nomad and 59 have been covered and waiting for their time in the limelight, which is coming up very soon here. I'm honestly just trying to button up all of the open projects that I have right now before I get onto those. There is no time stipulation or limit on really these 3 cars. So we got the Fuelie, the 59, and the Nomad. So those are all, you know, we're gonna have all the parts ready. So when we get prepared to jump on them, we can do full focus and spearhead those projects, get those knocked out. So that's kind of where we're at this week. Oh, also did a complete interior in this Buick. Let me show you guys how it turned out. So you can see brand new carpet kit. All of the interior was gutted. We dyed it with that correct pearlescent. I don't know if it shows up on the camera or not, but it's like a gold pearlescent paint. Or dye, I should say. But yeah, that came together as well. And that kind of wraps it up. Thank you. Wow, 17 minutes. I apologize, guys. I usually like to keep my stuff at like 10 minutes because I don't want to lose your guys' focus, and I sure don't want to bore you. If you've made it this far, thank you so much. I definitely appreciate you guys supporting my channel, hanging out with me. I hope you have an awesome Memorial Day weekend. I'm going to do my best to do the same. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Until next time, take care.